It's Ash from Super Videos back for another live Q&A video. This is Q&A number 179. We're going to be talking about Season 10, Episode 2 and the upcoming episode 3 of The Walking Dead. So let's jump right into the chat and waste no time. Giuseppe De Rosa, wow, right when I had nothing to do, the stream started. Glad you could join, Giuseppe. Ronnie Thomas, hey Ash, hey, how are you, Ronnie? Glad you could join. Ronnie Thomas, so excited to see Carol and Alpha at the face-off. Absolutely. I hope it's not underwhelming. They've been teasing it. I know there's probably going to be more. This is not the only one, but it's the first one in a way. So I'm absolutely excited. Giuseppe De Rosa saw the third episode. Absolutely loved it. They are really bringing back the horror feel. I'm glad. And you said I won't spoil. Thank you for not spoiling it because I haven't seen the episode, obviously. But I am really looking forward to this episode and to see what they're going to do in terms of story and the Alpha Carol showdown that we're going to see. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Eugene could die and Gabriel might take his place? I mean, Eugene is not really useful. I think Eugene is important in bridging the gap between the current story and the next story, which is the Commonwealth. After that, they can, take him out of the story and it won't really impact it too much. But at the moment, I don't think that Gabriel could replace Eugene or Eugene could replace Gabriel's death, if that's what you're referring to. And I think that Eugene is important right now in the story. If they don't change things too much, like if they don't bring another character that's got a lot of knowledge about, stuff that they could utilize him for the Eugene storylines in the comic book. If they don't do that, then Eugene is pretty much going to be a central not a central character, but an important character coming up. Negan's Meal Sandwich, do you think after Negan meets Beta, he will go to the Whisperers camp and meet Alpha? Absolutely. I don't see it going any other way. The only thing I'm really excited to see is how they're going to have the Beta Negan stuff. Because the Beta in the comics was a little different than the Beta in the TV show. And it's going to be interesting to see whether Beta's going to even... Or what's going to stop Beta from killing Negan on the spot when he sees him. That's one of my biggest interests in this episode. Or in the not this episode, in the episode where we see Beta and Negan meet. Giuseppe De Rosa, best episode of the season so far. That's a pretty high note to go into the episode with. I hope you're right. I'm gonna take your word for it. Ronnie Thomas, do you imagine Dwayne Johnson playing Beta? No, he wouldn't fit that character. I think Ryan Hurst is killing it as Beta so far. Ronnie Thomas, I just read that question. Giuseppe De Rosa, it's very intense. It seems very intense just from the trailer alone or the opening minutes alone. So I'm not surprised that it's an intense episode. Giuseppe De Rosa, a lot of movies and shows are made in Georgia. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Mike Farmer. Mike Farmer, The Rock sucks. You're not a fan of The Rock, I guess. Voltex 33, hi Ash, just watched 1003. It was great and unexpected. That's interesting. I've heard a lot of people say that it's great and there's a lot of twists. So can't wait to see the episode. Obviously don't spoil it because I haven't seen it. And I think most of the people on the chat haven't seen it, or a lot of people watching after I posted may not have seen it, so don't spoil it on the chat, please. Ronnie Thomas, for me, Eugene might die since the trailer, Rosita is crying with her baby and Gabriel is with Rosita, like comforting her. I mean, it could foreshadow his death. It could also foreshadow Siddiq's death. It could be Eugene or Siddiq. I think Rosita will cry more if the father of her baby dies than if Eugene dies. I'm just saying. Ronnie Thomas, I wonder why the episode airs one day before the release date. Well, whoever has AMC Premiere, they actually get to see the episode like a week early, I think. So that's why. With AMC Premiere, And that's only people in the US. People in Canada like me can't get AMC Premiere. But if you have AMC Premiere, then you can see the episode 1 week in advance. Negan's Mayo Sandwich, do you think they are teasing that Eugene will get a relationship soon? Or in a relationship soon? They're not really teasing it. They've been showing us that Eugene wants that for a long time. So it's not really something that they're teasing. It's just something that is there. It's the elephant in the room. Eugene wants to be with someone. So it's just a matter of how the story is going to go. But in terms of teasing, I don't think it's considered teasing at this point. Voltex 33, so do you think the Walking Dead movies take too long to be made? Absolutely. I would have thought by this time they would have like filmed maybe parts of it, but they haven't done that even. Which makes sense why they haven't released a trailer, because they haven't filmed anything. So yeah, it is taking a long time. And I think a part of that may be due to Andrew Lincoln's schedule, because he wants to do other stuff, obviously, before he jumps back into The Walking Dead and to the Rick Grimes role. So it makes sense, but it is taking a very long time. Giuseppe Dorza, which character on The Walking Dead would be the best rapper? Laugh my ass off. Negan, he could be a great rapper. Giuseppe Dorza with AMC Premiere, you get to watch it on Friday. Oh, okay, so a couple days early then, not a week. I think there was a couple episodes where they actually released that a week in advance. Was it with the premiere of season 9 or something? Or was it season 10? Because I remember one of the episodes they released it a week in advance. But yeah, it's like a couple days at least. Voltex 33, do you think Siddiq is the traitor? I think there's a possibility of that, yes. I've done a video on that already. I wouldn't be surprised if all of that is just rumors and there's nothing to it. But I would also not be surprised if he's a traitor and that all of the theories are correct. Or some of them at least. Mike Farmer, it's 2 days early, Friday night. Yeah, who was it that brought that up? Yeah, Giuseppe already brought that up. Thank you, though. Ronnie Thomas, how do you think Negan might get back Lucille? That's the question of, or that's a big question. There's a bunch of things that could happen. I could do a video on it, but I think just to briefly say the scenarios. 1 is Michonne gives it back to him. 2 is he finds it. 3 is someone lets him out and gives it to him. Another survivor, not necessarily anyone we know. 4th scenario or 4th way it could go is that it would be Daryl that gives it back to him. That's unlikely, but it could be. And there's the 5th scenario, which is the last scenario, is he just finds it. It could be any of those things. I don't know if I mentioned one twice. I could have, but you get the point. Giuseppe Dorza, Eugene is basically a great example of my life. Love life, laugh my ass off. Giuseppe, you will see later, laugh my ass off. Negan's Mayo Sandwich, I think Rosita would cry more if Eugene died since she knew him way longer than Siddiq. I would disagree with that. I think, yes, that's true. She's known Eugene longer, but Siddiq has a bigger presence in her life than Eugene. Ronnie Thomas, yes, but remember, if the films take long, that means the films will be great. Well, it's one thing if they're taking a long time to film. It's another thing for them to take okay, I'm going to say that again. It's one thing for it to take them a long time to film it. It's another thing for it to get them a long time to start filming it. I think in this case, it's taking them a long time to start filming it. Giuseppe Dorza, the Rick movies are supposed to be big budget movies. Yes, absolutely. And you can only see them in the theaters, which is interesting as well. Ronnie Thomas, do you think we might see the scene where Alpha kills Henry, Enid, and Tara, but in Siddiq's point of view? I think there's a possibility of that, yes. I think it'll add a lot more to Siddiq's reveal, if there is any reveal, if they actually go through it like with Siddiq's point of view. Giuseppe Doza, I heard the Rick movies are going to be made in a way that you don't need to watch the show. For everyone. Yeah, I've heard that too. Although I don't know how that's going to work. If you haven't seen the show, then do you even care who Rick Grimes is? Do you even care what happens to him? Do you even care that he's in the situation he's in? I think you have to have some knowledge. Maybe you don't have to necessarily be caught up to The Walking Dead, but you still have to know Rick Grimes. You still have to know the show. So you should. I think you need to have seen parts of the series, and you need to know the background, like what happened to Rick, and how he finds himself in the situation he is in the movies, for it to make sense. Ronnie Thomas, I'm not agreeing with you, Ash. I think Eugene is like Rosita's best friend. They have this connection that is very special. We'll have to wait and see. But again, I think Rosita will be hit harder if Siddiq dies than Eugene. But that could just be me. Who knows? One thing, I wanted to bring this up earlier, but I do have a poll. I'm going to leave a link in the comment or in the chat. Go there and participate in the poll. I've noticed that the reviews that I do for the episodes are not well received. Not a lot of people watch them. So I want to just get a sense of how many people actually would like me to continue doing my episode reviews for The Walking Dead. So if you go to the link, you can participate. You don't have to have any account or anything. You can just go and participate. Let me know which it is, and I'll leave it up for like a couple of days, and then I'll decide if I'm going to do reviews going forward for the episodes. Voltex33, will you watch Fear the Walking Dead Season 6 if it becomes the best season ever? Here's the thing. I'm not going to watch Season 6. If I do, I'm not going to watch it live. If I watch it live, I'm not going to react to it. That's just the way it is. But yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult for me to watch it in Season 6. If I watch it, I might like start watching after the mid-season and just watch all 8 episodes in one go, or like in a week instead of having to wait every week. I might do that, but at this point I can't see myself watching Season 6. Ronnie Thomas, just like I heard a rumor that Carol might die in Season 10. That would be a big decision if they do that. I think it'll come back to haunt them, that decision. I think that's a big risk, given Rick is not there, Carl is not there, leaving or exiting or dying or things like that. So I think it's going to be a big risk if they do that. Giuseppe Doza, will Rick get his big ass beard back? I hope so. I think that'll be a great trailer for the movie, just to show us badass Rick with his beard again. I think everyone's gonna get excited just from that alone. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Morgan is dead? I don't. I think he is gonna make it. I've done a video on that already. I think there's a small chance they might kill him off, but I think if they don't want to kill the show, they shouldn't kill Morgan off. Negan's Main Sandwich, I don't know why they put Gabriel with Rosita. It makes more sense for her to be with Eugene. Yes, but at the same time, they wanted to have that love triangle. Love triangle. And then add in Eugene on top of that. So that's why they did that whole thing. Ronnie Thomas, I mean, if Morgan survived, I call that BS. I agree with you, but I think that's what they're going to do. Giuseppe Rosa, Ash, of course, we want you to continue episode reviews. Well, let me know in the... I'll leave a link again for those of you that didn't see it. Go there and let me know if you want me to continue doing my episode reviews. If I do, I might just like make them shorter than what it already is. It used to be like 10 minutes, my reviews. Then I cut it down to like 5-6 minutes. And now I might even go like 2-minute review, just a quick review, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of interest in longer reviews for The Walking Dead. Voltix33, are you planning to watch The Joker? I've already watched it twice, actually. I wanted to do a review of that, but again, it seems like obviously it's because of the channel, but there isn't a lot of interest in any type of reviews on this channel. Movie reviews, episode reviews, anything like that. Even my comic reviews. Sometimes it felt like there wasn't a lot of interest for those, but yeah, I've seen, just to go back to your question and not ramble, I've seen The Joker already. Giuseppe Rosa, The Walking Dead should end with the final Rick movie. I don't think that'll happen. They've said they want the show to go on for a long time. I don't see them ending it with the movie this way. Ronnie Thomas, do you think the Rick movie might be like Harry Potter? Rick comes to this new community and then he comes back to his home. I don't think he's gonna go back because we would have seen him already on the original. It's been 6 years. So no, I don't think so. I think he's gonna, for whatever reason, be stuck there. Either voluntarily or by force. I hope it's by force. But he probably can't leave for whatever reason. Giuseppe Rosa, you should do movie reviews, Ash. It could boost the channel more, I believe. Well, I thought that too, but I've tried like a couple movie reviews in the past. None of them got any type of interest. So because of that, I've kind of stopped doing movie reviews. Maybe I'll do recommended movie reviews. And recommended, I mean that enough people have to request for it for me to do a movie review. Or a review of the movie that is requested. Ronnie Thomas, do you see Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing the Joker? Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Maybe a younger Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Yeah, maybe a younger Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But he could definitely pull it off. Negan's Mayo Sandwich, I wish they would have done the comic Love Triangle, Rosita, Eugene, and Sadiq. Yeah, I hoped so too, but they wanted to remix it. They wanted to change it a little bit, so that makes sense. Giuseppe Dorza, can you see a season 20? At this point, no. I think season 13 or 14 is as far as we can go. If they continue after it, it'll be an entirely different type of show. Ronnie Thomas, do you think the Rick movies will be a box office worldwide? No, I don't. I think there will be a lot of interest on the first day, maybe the first few days, but I think the hype is going to die down pretty soon after that. I think it's only core Walking Dead fans that are going to want to watch the movie. And also those that still watch the show. People who don't even know Rick disappeared, they don't care. So yeah. Giuseppe De Rosa, I wish Ronnie, but I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it as well. Giuseppe De Rosa, maybe it was, or maybe if it was made when The Walking Dead was so popular. Yeah, then it might have. Like, let's say the most popular the show has been was like at the end of season 6, right? That was the peak of Walking Dead popularity. If they released like a movie then about anything at all, like a governor backstory or something, like a movie, or not everyone, but a lot of people would have gone to watch, and it would have been I wouldn't say a box office worldwide success or anything like that, but it would have done well worldwide. But at this point, it's less likely for that to be the case. Giuseppe De Rosa during season 6. Yeah, season 6 was the most, Walking Dead was most popular at that time. Ronnie Thomas, I think Daryl will be the last man standing. I mean, it starts to happen. It could. I mean, at this point, he is the face of The Walking Dead, so I could definitely see that. Voltix 33, what if Governor met Whispers instead of Negan? I think the Governor would have joined the Whispers and tried to kill Alpha and become the Alpha himself. That's how the Governor would have done it, I think. Giuseppe De Rosa, will they ever move from Alexandria and Hilltop? Probably not. Those two communities are probably gonna be there for as long as the show exists. I don't think they'll ever get rid of those two communities. They got rid of Kingdom, but I think they're gonna still stay at Alexandria and Hilltop. Other than the story part of it, from a what do you call it? Like from a business part of things, they've built a set where they film for Alexandria and Hilltop. They're never gonna, or it's gonna, they already paid for it, and I think they own it now or something like that. So they're gonna stay there for a long time. The Kingdom was different because they were renting it. It was like a studio, a filming studio, I believe. The Tyler Perry movie studio, I believe, if I'm not wrong. And obviously they had to pay rent to be there, or they had to pay something. So they got rid of that, obviously, because they want to save budget. But Alexandria and Hilltop is different because they're there. They own the place. So I think it would be extremely unlikely for them to leave at this point. Giuseppe De Rosa, we keep The Walking Dead running. In a lot, and I don't know what you mean by we, but in a lot of ways, the online Walking Dead communities are what's kept the show going for this long. It might have been cancelled like after season 8 or 7 if there wasn't this much hype and excitement around the show from online communities. So yeah, in a way, you're absolutely right that the Walking Dead online community keeps the show going in a lot of ways. Negan's main sandwich, in episode 5, it says an Alexandrian idolizes Negan. Do you think it's Brandon? I think so. I don't think it makes sense for it to be anyone else. And I'm looking forward to that, absolutely. Giuseppe De Rosa, Beta versus Governor. Beta. Governor was ruthless, but Beta is a savage. Vortex 33, how would Beta react to Survivors if he was Alpha? That's a great question. I think he would have been more extreme in some ways. And with Alpha, what we see, or what we saw in the last episode, was that her emotions and her what do you call it? Her emotions and what she feels did get in the way of her power and how she makes what decisions she makes to keep her power and to keep her community safe. But I think with Beta, there wouldn't have been that. Beta is a more cold character than Alpha, I think, at this point. Giuseppe De Rosa, that would be interesting to see the group out on the road again. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. Maybe not for a full season or even a full half season, but maybe if we go on a journey with some of the characters for a few episodes where they're going to somewhere to get supplies or something, and we just follow them. We don't hear about the other communities or anything, but we just follow this group, and they find new threats, they find new enemies along the way. That would be very interesting. And they don't need to like stretch it out, but at the same time, it would be interesting, like you said, to see the group out on the road again. For the story to be smaller scaled a little bit. Right now, it seems like it's a big world now, and there's a lot of things that are happening, and it's difficult to feel like a connection on a personal note to some of the characters at this point. Roddy Thomas, for me, Michonne will die. I mean, why would she leave Judith and RJ while the Whispers still roam around? You're absolutely right, and that's the part that really gets me. What are they going to do with Michonne? They can't just kill her off, because it'll be smarter for them to leave it open for her to come back if she decides to come back. And it would be a lot more smarter for them to leave it on a note where there could be a connection between Michonne and the Rick movies. Maybe they don't necessarily have to make that 100% confirmed or reveal it 100%, but for them to leave the door open for that. But yeah, I think if that happens, then why would she leave RJ and Judith? That's the big question. Negan's Mayo Sandwich, shouldn't a dude named William be running the kingdom like the comics? They changed the kingdom story completely, 100%. So none of the kingdom story is like it was in the comics going forward. So it's going to be completely different. Giuseppe De Rosa, yeah, because Ezekiel died in the comics. Yes, that too. That's just one major change, but there are other changes as well, like they destroyed the kingdom. Carol had a connection to the kingdom. She didn't in the comics. She didn't exist in the comics at this point. They have Jerry, who's a pretty big character now. What else? And they've done tons and tons of other things to make the kingdom story very different than the comics. Giuseppe De Rosa, I bought the compendium for. It's so awesome having all the Walking Dead compendiums. I'm gonna have to get that as well. I have the first three, the other three compendiums, so I'm gonna get my hand on the fourth one as well. Ronnie Thomas, I think Alpha is manipulating Beta. I think they're both manipulating each other in a lot of ways. I think it's a two-way street for them. Alpha manipulates Beta to keep him in charge. Beta manipulates Alpha to have her in charge still. So, yeah. Ronnie Thomas, Beta is like his slave. I think it works both ways, like I said. Giuseppe De Rosa, will we ever see the city again? Last time we saw the city was in season 5 and Daryl and Carol. With Daryl and Carol. Maybe, but I doubt it. I think we will see a big city again, but it would be a city that's not like a broken city. It's a functioning city. And I don't want to get into what I mean by that, just in case there are non-comic readers here. Ronnie Thomas, how do you think they might survive if they were in Antarctica? I think the chances of survival would have been higher there because there would have been less walkers. Walkers won't be able to survive that atmosphere. But at the same time, the survivors are going to need to do some serious survival tactics to survive in that atmosphere and in that context. Negan's Beer Sandwich, what if Negan showed up at Hilltop when Alpha came for Lydia? With the amount of guys he had in 701, do you think Alpha would have died? Yeah, I think she would have surrendered. I think she would have surrendered if like a scenario like you say happened. Giuseppe De Rosa, I would move to the Bahamas in The Walking Dead. That's a great spot to be in any type of context. Not even looking at the apocalypse. Giuseppe De Rosa, what if Carol didn't die in the comics? I don't know what they would have done with Carol in the comics if she didn't die. They might have, or her story might have shaped the way it did in the TV show. It might have shaped very differently. We don't know. But I think she wouldn't have been as badass of a character as she's in the TV show. I don't think she would have been even close to what her comic or her TV show counterpart turned into. Nova Jinx 75, hey Ash, hey, how are you, Nova? Glad you could join. We're 33 minutes in. We'll go for another maybe 5 minutes and then we'll end the stream. Noah Jake 75 Q&A, how do you see Alpha and Carol's conversation happening? I think Daryl might have to intervene to stop Carol from attacking Alpha. I think Carol is going to be very salty, and fair enough. She has a right to be salty. Alpha would want to rub it in her face, especially when she realizes that she killed her son. And she would try to push her buttons. There's a chance that it could hit her a little bit as well, hit her hard when she finds out, because we've already seen how she reacts to people trying to protect their children. So there's that part of it that could make things interesting. But I think you're absolutely right. If something goes down, Daryl might be the one that needs to calm Carol down or to intervene to stop a massacre from happening. Giuseppe De Rosa, what if Shane was still alive? That's a great question. I don't have an answer for that. I think it would have been a lot different. The leadership, if he turned out to be the leader, would have been a lot more what do you call it? Strong, and he would have taken less risks. But yeah. Ronnie Thomas, here's my prediction for who I think will die. Gabriel, Sadiq, Beta, Alpha, Alden, Laura, Earl, Carol, Michonne. If they kill all of those, well, let's go through them. Gabriel, there's a chance. I agree with that. Sadiq, there's a very good chance. Beta, there's a very, very good chance. Alpha, again, same thing. Alden, there's a chance. Laura, there's a good chance. Earl, there's a good chance. Carol, I doubt it. I doubt it for Carol. Michonne, there's a chance. But if they killed Carol and Michonne in the same season, that could be suicide for the show. Noah Jink 75. If Negan and the Saviors were still formed, do you think they would be able to defeat Alpha and the Whisperers? I say not, because the Alpha had a strategy, especially with the Walkers. I think if the Saviors were around and Negan was in charge and they were cool with each other, all the communities, they would have been able to defeat the Whisperers. Not easily, but they would have been able to. Because Negan had the numbers. Negan was a good strategist in many ways. And again, if Rick was around as well, Rick from one side, Maggie, if she was around, from the other side, Negan from the other side, together, maybe with Ezekiel from Kingdom, they would have been able to come up with a strategy to get back to defeat the Whisperers. Negan's Spoon Sandwich, do you think Negan will say, do I get a skin suit, or a line from the comics? I think so. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't do that if they're doing the Negan stuff from the comics. Noah Jink 75, Carol, or could Gabriel and Sadiq both die in this season? Gabriel and Sadiq. Gabriel could be a big death, but I think Siddiq dying would make Carl's death pointless. You're right. I don't think they'll kill both of them. Probably just one. And I think Siddiq has more chance of dying. And yes, I think it does impact Carl's death a little bit, but at the same time, it could push other people's stories forward. Giuseppe De Rosa, they shouldn't be killing older characters. I disagree. I think they should be, but it shouldn't be for no reason. It should have a reason. It should have a point to it. If they don't kill any old characters, then there's really no tension there. There's really no, what do you call it? Holy crap, they just killed this character. Because it would be like, yeah, it's a background character, we don't care. Or it's a character we don't care about. Or it's not an old character that we've known to love, so we don't really care. They want to make that, or they want to avoid that by sometimes killing big characters. That's part of why The Walking Dead is so shocking, is because they killed big characters. Noah Jinx 75. I'm surprised that Gabriel has even made it this far. As I thought he was going to die seasons ago. Yeah, absolutely. I thought he was going to die in like season 6 or even season 5 even. So yeah, I'm surprised as much as you are. Giuseppe Rosa, there's not enough around. You're right, absolutely. But that's where you have to flesh out new characters and to build them up to be strong characters for future. For us to look at them as like old characters in a way. Ronnie Thomas, how far Negan has fallen. Giuseppe De Rosa, Negan, and Daryl are my favorite characters right now. Negan, Daryl, and Carol, yes. Noah Jinx 75, do you think Lydia will go to the meeting at the border? She most likely won't because we don't see her in any of the promo photos at the border, but I would like to see Lydia confront her mother. I would like to see that, yes, but I don't think she'll go this time. Maybe in one of the final showdowns between the Whisperers and the Survivors, she'll be there. Noah Jinx 75, also if the other Whisperers see Lydia as alive, will they try to revolt against Alpha for not being strong enough to kill her own child? This is something that Alpha fears greatly. Yes, I think there's a very good chance that they would revolt if they find out. Ronnie Thomas, why do I have this still bad feeling for Carol? I'm not sure, but I don't think they're going to kill her off. I think, like I said, it'll be suicide for the show in a way. Giuseppe De Rosa, can you imagine Glenn in season 10? Yeah, I could. I definitely could. I think if Glenn was around, he would have been, let's see. Who's the closest character at this point to Glenn? I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I could definitely see Glenn in season 10. Negan's Mayo Sandwich, do you think Eugene and Rosita will ever get together? I hope so. Eugene and Rosita. Probably in the future, not anytime soon. NovaJinx75, what I find interesting is how Alpha thinks that by creating a shine in 1002, that Lydia will come back. Lydia, I think, wants nothing to do with her mother, especially after what she did in 915. Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you on that. Just in case you haven't seen the poll, make sure to go to the poll that we have. I left a link in the chat and participate in the poll to let me know if you want me to continue doing episode reviews for The Walking Dead. NoahJinx75, Alpha is such a unique villain because she has little to no feelings except for Lydia and thinks that her daughter will come back to her after she killed her boyfriend and 9 other people. She is ruthless. She's definitely very ruthless. Ronnie Thomas, I think Siddiq is like the new Glenn. Siddiq is like the new Glenn. Yeah, I could see that. Partly. Negan's meal sandwich. Also, do you think we'll get the scene from the comics where Lydia says the time of the whispers are over and starting shooting them at Hilltop? Yes, I think so. That would make a lot of sense for them to bring that to the TV show as well. Noah Jinx 75, I wonder if Siddiq will have any more PTSD moments, because I wonder if the show will or still shows as the bodies of the Pike victims. Probably not though. I think he still will have some PTSD, like they'll show it. Whether they'll show the events of 9/15 from Siddiq's perspective, that's a different question, and I think it's possible but unlikely at this point. Animated Alex, up Ash. How are you, Animated Alex? Glad you could join. We do have to shut the stream down though, because we've been going for like 45 minutes. But thank you for joining. I appreciate it, but we'll have to end it here. Thank you everyone for joining the stream and asking questions. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for my reaction tonight, obviously, and my trailer breakdown for the upcoming episode, and then the other videos that are going to be coming up. I don't know if I'm going to do a review of this episode. I might. This might be like the last review I do. I don't know. It all depends. I'll have to wait and see what you guys have to say on the chat or on the poll. I'll bring that up again in future videos, but I'm going to have to wait and see if I'm going to continue doing reviews. But for this upcoming episode, I'll probably do a review, but it might be my final one. But that's it for this stream. Thank you for joining and asking questions. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon.